Today we are making vegan keto granola, gluten-free granola. I have a cinnamon flavored one and I have a vanilla flavored one. We could even make chocolate, has protein in it. Anyway, it's perfect to put over things like green smoothies. I like the cinnamon, sprinkle that on right on top. And this is what we're making today. Let's get started. Okay, let's get started. So what I've done so far is I soaked some nuts and seeds. Why did I do that? Whenever we soak nuts and seeds, we remove those enzyme inhibitors. So many of us hear about anti-nutrients, things like lectins, stuff like that. Well, nuts and seeds are protected from people and animals from eating them by having these things in there that are enzyme inhibitors so that they can pass through and produce another plant. Well, if we soak them, that helps activate them. Sometimes it will start some sprouting process and it removes those enzyme inhibitors so that we can absorb those nutrients. It'll be less irritating as well. So you can use any nuts and seeds that you want. In here I have a half a cup of pumpkin seeds, half a cup of sunflower seeds, half a cup of walnuts, half a cup of pecans, half a cup of almonds, and a half a cup of cashews. And so all of that just sounds delicious to me. I forgot coconut, so I'm going to go grab coconut. I don't soak the coconut. And then I also have a half a cup of hemp seeds. So these have been soaking for several hours. I'm going to go and rinse them really quick and grab the coconut, and then we'll get started. Okay, so I drained them and rinsed them really well. And so this is 3 cups of nuts and seeds. If you don't do nuts, just use seeds. And you could also do oat groats. I wish I had thought of that. I would have sprouted some oats and then added them as well. So just swap out half a cup for the oat groats. So they're nice and they're moist. So I'm going to put them in here and they'll kind of clump a little bit. And then I'm going to add some other ingredients which will hold them together a little bit more. So I normally use chia seeds and flax seeds. I love those. But those are really difficult to break down and digest unless they're ground. And I really didn't want a ground seed in here. And so you could always add that if you want to. I just left it out of here. So I have 3 cups of nuts and seeds here. I'm going to put them in a spatula somewhere. And then I'm going to add a half a cup of hemp seeds, which I do not soak, and a half a cup of coconut. If you don't like coconut, just leave it out. You don't have to have it. And so this is my substitute for like a cold cereal. Every now and then I want something like a cold cereal, which is not the healthiest choice. And so I just like to make my own granola. This is also great on yogurt. I love to make my own yogurt. I have some fermenting in the oven with the light on right now. That's why I'm making this granola, to put it on top of my yogurt. Okay, so half a cup of organic coconut flakes. And now I'm going to add a few other ingredients. So I like to have some extra protein in the mornings when I have breakfast. So I have a scoop of vanilla protein powder. If you don't have vanilla protein powder, then you can always just add a tablespoon of vanilla. Start with a teaspoon and taste it and see how much vanilla you really want. So I'm going to put a full scoop. So this is going to be about 1/3 of a cup of vanilla protein powder. And then I'm going to add monk fruit. So my protein powder does have some monk fruit and stevia, so it is kind of sweet, so I don't need much. As a matter of fact, I'm going to leave it out and taste it and then see if I need it. I'm also going to add a little bit of sea salt. I like sea salt in mine. I do like the minerals I get from sea salt. Salt is needed for like adrenal health. If you are avoiding sea salt, any kind of salt because of a heart condition, then leave out the salt. You don't have to have it. It just helps to bring out some flavors. So I'm going to add a little bit of sea salt. And then something else that I love to add, which you could add some dried fruit. Start with a half a cup. See if that's going to be sweet enough because you don't want to spike blood sugar. But maybe some dried blueberries. That'd be fabulous. If you want to turn it into something like an apple spice, throw in some dried apples with some cinnamon. Maybe you want a pumpkin spice, then throw in some pumpkin spice seasoning. I love just cinnamon and blueberries, dried blueberries. That is delicious. But I have someone living in the home that does not like cinnamon, so I'm going to leave it out. And then sometimes I even add cocoa nibs, another delicious option. So you could do that as well. So I just have the 3 cups of seeds, the hemp seeds, the coconut, the protein powder, and a little bit of salt. And I'm going to just chop it. I don't want it to turn into like a nut butter. I just want to chop it until it's all combined. Even something like a little bit of cardamom would be delicious. Okay, so you can see what it looks like. It's just kind of chunky. I'm going to spread it out on my dehydrator tray. And I have 2 trays here. It smells so good. With the cinnamon, it's even better. As a matter of fact, I may add cinnamon to the second batch. Okay. Go a little bit more. Just spreading it all out. I want it to dry so that it's kind of like a cereal, but not like a cracker. So don't want it all too close together. You may find that you need to add a little bit of water. It just depends on how long you were soaking your nuts and seeds. Like I said, mine were probably 4 hours. Okay, I'm going to get the next tray. I'm going to add some cinnamon to the other batch. Okay, so you can see this one's a little bit smaller. See if I can put my blade back on, and I'm just going to add about a half a teaspoon of cinnamon. Thing is, it smells so good that I start grabbing it out of the dehydrator as it's going. Okay. Just needed a quick blitz, right? Now I can pour it out. So you can see this only took a few minutes. It's measuring the nuts and seeds, covering them with water, leaving them aside for a few hours, and then throwing them in the food processor with the protein powder and a little bit of salt. Now, if you didn't have protein powder and you want like a cocoa flavor, just use cocoa powder. Or cacao powder would be even better. Or a chocolate protein powder, or any protein powder. Maybe you have a different kind of powder that you like to use. Any kind of superfood powder that would go well will work too. Okay, so I'm going to spread it out. Cinnamon didn't get quite incorporated, so I'm going to stir it a little bit as I go. Alright, spread it out. I'm going to set this in the dehydrator and leave it in there overnight. And then stir it in the morning and continue to dry it until it's dried all the way through so that it is shelf stable, and then I can use it. I'm getting ready to go on a trip, and I can take it with me when I go. I can have it with me on the plane. When I'm in the airport, I can grab some yogurt, dairy-free yogurt, of course, and have this. Or even when I'm in my hotel room, I can have it in there as well. Okay, so I'm going to stick this in the dehydrator, and I will see you in the morning. Okay, good morning. Our granola is ready. You can see, so here is the vanilla one. You can see there's less on here because I kept snacking it. It smells so good in the dehydrator. And then this one is the cinnamon. So I left them in the dehydrator all night long. And what you want to do is make sure that they are nice and dry, really dry. And then you can place them in a jar like this, like a mason jar. If they are dry all the way through, you want them to be really good and dry if you're going to keep them out so you can have them in the next few days. They will be shelf stable if they're really dry. If they're not really dry, then you'll want to keep them in the freezer. And another thing I was thinking about, so yesterday I said I wish I had soaked oat groats. If I soaked oat groats and then dried them, they would be rock hard, and so I changed my mind on that. So for me, I will soak my oats and sprout them and then add the granola to it at each breakfast, because I've done that before, and it just gets really, really hard. So for my breakfast today, I'm really pleased with my granola. It's nice and dry. I can store it. I'm going to put it on top of my smoothie here. I wanted to put it right on yogurt, but then I thought it might not show up if I put it right on yogurt. So here's our granola. This is the cinnamon. I have it on top of a green smoothie. I have other videos for green smoothie, and on a walnut hemp seed yogurt. I think I have a video for that too. And then I just put some figs on top. And so I have the protein powder in the granola, but when you divide it up like this, it's not much protein powder, but I do have protein powder in my green smoothie. You don't have to have protein powder. Because it is a processed food and you don't want to have on protein powder in your breakfast, don't put protein powder in your breakfast. But this is our granola. It's delicious. I'm letting you know if you make it. Like and share my video. Please comment. I love to hear from you. If there's a recipe you'd like for me to recreate, that is something that I love, love, love to do. And so I would love to make a recipe for you. Anyway, enjoy. And I almost forgot, don't forget, I do have some ebooks available. I have some free recipes and a wonderful cookbook as well. The link is in my bio.